Hi, welcome to another session on our sustainability series. And this is a continuation of our series on specifically focusing on integrated reporting. In the previous video, we looked at what is integrated thinking. And in this video, we're going to look at what we call the value creation process. Now, according to the International Integrated Reporting Council, integrated report is a concise communication about how an organization's strategy, governance, performance, as well as its prospect in the context of its external environment will lead to creation of value in either the short, medium, and long term. So that is basically the definition according to the International Integrated Reporting Council of what we mean by integrated reporting. From previous session that we had, I spoke extensively about what we call integrated thinking, which is primarily what has informed this type of reporting. And that reporting appreciates the fact that most corporate reports focus primarily on financial and manufactured capital without not considering other forms of capital. For example, human capital, social capital, intellectual capital, all manner of capitals beyond the basic financial reporting, which most of the time considered financial and manufactured capital. So integrated reporting seeks to provide a communication of the company's strategy, governance, performance, and prospect in the context of their environment and the ability to create value in either the short term, medium, or long term. So the primary purpose of an integrated report is to explain how an organization's strategy exactly helps it to create, preserve, or erode value over time. Because as the entity engages its resources through its business model, considering their environment, is that clear? They are able to create value. There are situations where value is eroded or where value could be preserved. So this is the essence of integrated reporting. Entities over time will definitely create value. And that is why they exist, to offer benefits to customers for which they will continue to buy from them. And if there's a situation where any of the activities is resulting in value being eroded, the integrated reporting is able to help appreciate that and deal with it accordingly. So basically, that is the discussion we're going to have. It's called a value creation process. And this is the process through which value is created, preserved, or eroded exactly within an entity. And most times, this value creation process is embedded in the company's activities and outputs. Because business activities mostly are mainly involving the company producing or designing products and services using their skills and knowledge to provide those services. Now, behind all these activities are supported by the company's governance structure, mostly their strategy, how they allocate resources, how they are able to identify risk and opportunities. So a company's value creation process is influenced by the activities, influenced or supported by their governance structure, as well as the kind of environment within which they operate. All these can affect the entity's ability to create value, preserve value, exactly, and obviously, value could be eroded if these issues are not well dealt with. And all these are clearly important if you really want to understand integrated reporting. Because if you understand the value creation process, then it can help you to appreciate that companies in preparing their financial statement may be overlooking something very essential. Because the reason why an entity exists is to create value. Value for customers, value for shareholders, value for other stakeholders. And if they are not able to understand the process through which they create value, the process through which they continue to create value, obviously there will be a problem in the long term. Exactly. So the capitals, which we spoke about when we were discussing integrated reporting, mostly we can look at them from the inputs. They are the various resources that the entity employ in their business model. Now, there's usually would definitely be an increase in those capitals. Most times, yes, if the company procures those capitals, why not there will be an increase in them? Some of those capitals will reduce because over time, they may be used by the company in creating value for their customers. So definitely there will be increase and decrease in capital of the company, which according to the mostly we call them resources, but according to integrated reporting, we call them capitals, as we've seen from our previous session. So depending on the balance between how the company used their capital as inputs and the effect on the capital by their business activity and the overall value, exactly, which may be increased or decreased or maintained by the entity, is very important when it comes to understanding the company's value creation process. So we'll look at this illustration in a very simple way to appreciate how a company's value creation process could be well understood. So a company, yes, obviously employ resources. Those resources or inputs are what we call the capital. And mostly they comes in various forms, as we earlier explained: the financial capital, the manufactured capital, the intellectual capital, the social. All these inputs are used by the entity. And all these inputs are normally, what do you call it, put into the company's business model, which mostly are their activities. So the business model of the entity are the various activities that the company has in place in order for them to be able to create value. I believe I'm making sense there. So within the company's business activity, yes, we need to consider their governance, how the entity is able to identify risk and respond to them. We need to also consider the company's environment, external environmental factors that could affect the company. And through all of these, the entity is able to generate outputs, exactly, through these activities, exactly, for their customers or their various stakeholders. Now, through these outputs, we are therefore able to know whether the company has created value. I believe I'm making sense. So the outcomes are mostly the value that the company creates, or the value that the company preserves, or the value that the company may have eroded. I believe I'm making sense. So if the resources which normally the company will employ are normally called inputs or capital, if they are employed through the company's business model, having considered their governance structure and their external environment, will generate outputs. And those outputs will eventually have impact on our capitals, which we normally refer to as the outcomes. And the impact on those capitals could be that, yes, value has been created, value has been preserved, or value has been eroded. For example, if a company invests in ensuring that their customers' needs are fulfilled, maybe, for example, a company decides to invest in a particular technology, in ensuring that the entity is able to have some around-the-clock solution to help customers perform transactions, that clearly will reduce the company's financial capital, but may also increase their intellectual capital. Obviously, that is from the point of the input. But as the company uses that particular software, after they have been able to employ it through their business model, will result in output for the customer. The customer will get certain benefit from all that has been employed in generating the benefits that the customer wants. But eventually, the company's reputation will increase. Obviously, the company's social capital will increase. So basically, if company employ inputs, resources through their business model, yes, there will be outputs that customers will benefit from. But eventually, all the outputs may sometimes result in the increase or decrease, or normally we prefer to use the word, yes, value may be created, value may be preserved, or value may be eroded, exactly, from the company's activities. I believe I'm making sense. So it's important to know that, yes, the same capitals which we input into the company's business model will result in outputs. And those outputs can eventually increase or create value for the company, preserve value for the entity, or may either also erode value for the company. So that is the value creation process. And appreciation of this process can help you understand integrated reporting, because integrated reporting will mainly be about how these inputs, that's the capitals we employ throughout our business model, how they give us outcome to our various stakeholders, or outputs to our various stakeholders, and how we are able to measure the outcomes, which is the value we have been able to create, or the value we have been able to preserve, or the value we have been able to erode. So basically, this is the value creation process. So in the next video or in the next session, we'll be looking at integrated reporting framework, the framework that guides us in preparing an integrated report, which is very important, issued by the International Integrated Reporting Council. And that framework is going to help us to appreciate how to put together an integrated report. So watch out for the next video. My name is Sigmund, and in the next session, we'll explain further the integrated reporting framework. And you can like this video immediately, share with a friend, and you can register for our professional programs, our training program, by downloading our mobile application immediately via Android, iOS, as well as Microsoft stores. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next session. Bye-bye.